Greetings and salutations, folks, and welcome back to One Last War Story. The Last Tiger in 1945, the Rhineland, which was a controversial one when it was announced that it was going to present a story from when Battlefield 5 was going to present a story from the perspective of the Nazis, because at this point, I can't think of any mainstream action game that has done so. Commands a Tiger 1 in a last stand against U.S. forces as they push toward the Rhine. Fight a defensive battle without hope from the command seat of one of the most feared vehicles of war. So let's see how they do this. What kind of story they want to tell with it, and how they want to tell it. General Bradley's 12th U.S. Army Group presses the borders of Germany. It is the largest U.S. Army formation ever to take the field. 17,000 tanks, a whole bunch of aircraft, million troops press eastward. Meanwhile, German lines are in disarray. The Tiger tank is a legendary war machine. Allied guns can barely scratch the thick steel skin. Its cannon is awesome. Germany constructed 1347 Tigers. A Tiger crew would often run out of ammunition before the enemy ran out of tanks. Which I suppose it presents the idea that, like, it's the Zerg versus the Protoss mentality. A single Protoss unit can be very expensive. But it's going to be more powerful than any individual Zergling. But if you send just hordes and hordes of Zerg, it may eventually overcome that single tougher unit. My father was furious when he found out. I protested to him, but I didn't take anything. Maybe not, he said, but... You were there.
Mein Name ist Peter Müller. Kommandant des Tigerpanzers 237.
It's a very... This feels like a very familiar melody, and I don't remember what it was from. But that kind of, like, the fluctuating in the background feels like something I should know if I knew my classical music.
Ist doch sowieso bald alles vorbei. Müller! Sagen Sie mir, dass wir Nachschub kriegen. Und einen neuen Funker.
Das wäre gelogen, Kerl.
Although this is an interesting point in time to be telling this specific story, in a similar fashion to the movie Das Boot.
Im Gegensatz zu fahren nicht leisten, jeden Mist auszusprechen, der in den Sinn kommt, Schröder.
Ja, Kommandant.
Like, the movie Das Boot, if you haven't seen it, tells the story about a German U-boat crew during World War II. And it's about their struggle to stay alive, to fight the good fight, to fight for their country. And they succeed, and they come back home to their hangar, only to find their docking bay. And as they come back to their docking bay, it's being bombed by the Allies. Everything they've worked so hard to accomplish, to succeed, is brought to ruin as the U-boat, which managed to stay alive for so long, was finally brought down, not by their own lack of skill,
Die Amis auf der anderen Seite.
Weil wir uns nicht zurückziehen. Wir rücken vor.
but by the firepower of their enemies. They won the sea battles, but they lost the air battle. And eventually, the war. Which feels like it provides that movie with more of like that overall structure, that overall construct.
Stärker, vergessen Sie das nicht.
I noticed this, there hasn't really been much interactive just yet. I'm guessing that's going to change very soon. And my question is going to be, okay, so I have infinite ammo. Also, this is basically the mission that was missing so far, is there hasn't really been a big vehicle mission. Battlefield 1 had the big air mission that ended with a pretty awesome... oh, that is very... Oh, nope, he's ducking back in. I was gonna say, it's very convenient that he's there to point where I need to go. What am I shooting at? Oh yeah, this is a Battlefield game. Just shoot the building. Although, actually, I believe the early World War II games, like Medal of Honor Allied Assault, faked having a destruction engine. By like you would blow up buildings and it would just use the physics engine and different aspects of its interaction by like just having walls just happen to explode. Like it wasn't really caused in game. Oh, you son of a... I'm getting blown up by something. There goes that guy. There goes that guy. Oh. Okay, and I can hold up and repair at any time. So yeah, I wonder if like this story is going to frame itself almost in a similar fashion. In a similar fashion to Das Boot. Aha. In that, like there are these, this tank crew is attempting to fight for their country, but they've already lost. But at the same time, like, okay, I'm gonna stop with that theory. And instead, talk about what I might do if I was tasked to tell a story from the perspective of the Nazis. Like, what kind of story would I want to tell? Now, obviously, like, I wouldn't want to tell a story in which the Nazis are the heroes. If there's any truth in reality, if there's any truth that is universally known, it is that there is no enemy as greater vilified than the World War II Nazi, and for good cause. So there would be no point, like, the end goal isn't like to celebrate any heroism, because you look at other World War II shooters, like Medal of Honor, like Call of Duty. They're generally, especially Medal of Honor, was generally meant to celebrate the courage of the soldier who had gone off to fight in World War II. Also, all of my talking is not so well because I am barely paying attention to the text. You know, this guy, the tank commander, should really just eventually just climb back into the tank and just stay there. Yep. Ah. Oh. So. So it would have to have something in which the characters see the like they can't be celebrated. That would be a start. Most likely they would have a very specific goal to accomplish. They're going to be very patriotic. When you first meet them, they might seem like ordinary people. Just your ordinary fathers, brothers. And let's give them an objective. They have to... Damn it. Let's duck back. There, we repaired a little bit. Repaired some more. So the objective would be very basic, very specific. There are some allies moving in from the west. Your goal is to march on them, take their position. And as you're moving west, what they eventually discover, these specific Nazis, the specific group that we're following, discovers a Holocaust camp. Or at the very least, they discover not the camp itself, but the survivors. This group of Nazis themselves were not specifically aware of the Holocaust camps, or they had chosen not to be aware. They might have heard rumors, but... But they had only discovered the absolute truth of the horror of the Nazi war machine firsthand in this mission, in which they discover that though they did not participate actively, they enabled this machine. And I think I am going to die horribly. There we go. Come on. Ah, damn it. Repair, please. Okay. That was more of a counterattack than I expected. Although, that's the thing, I wasn't quite aware as Tank 237's designation is Stefan. Okay. Alright, let's see if we can move from this position. And then perhaps like the final mission would be like the one overzealous commander decides that he wants to carry on the Führer's vision, and it's up to you and the rest of your squad to stop him, but in the process, your characters die. Which I guess, that does present them as heroes in a fashion, but they will never be celebrated as heroes. They will be just anonymous casualties on the field of battle. I'll have to go back to the drawing board on this one. Like I said, trying to create a story that goes on to vilify, to maintain the status of the heroes as villains. Or should I say, as the protagonists, as villains. Like, you look at Grand Theft Auto, and you look at characters like Michael, like Trevor was his name? Like, he does terrible things in this story. But the ending kind of gives him that kind of like, it considers him that ally, fighting alongside Michael and Frank to maintain their sanity in a cruel world. You look at other games like in which there's more of a morally gray area, like say The Darkness, in which like your character never really becomes a hero or a villain, as much as becomes controlled by the villain within. But your character is always fighting, well, except for when he fights the police. So, but like Tommy in The Darkness never really becomes really a villain himself, as much as just a permanent host for the monster within. So, yeah, trying to set up this kind of story is complicated, with and still make it good and meaningful. So we're gonna have to see where this ends. I looked up how long this campaign ends, and supposedly the ending of this particular campaign is really strong. Okay, I like the fact that you got the two crosshairs, so you can kind of see where the tank is aiming and where you're trying to move your aimer as to. Nope. I don't know why this tank guy really should just stay inside the tank. It's a lot safer in there. But yeah, Germany is not looking so good. The war effort has definitely been bombing Berlin. I don't know. It says it takes place in the Rhineland. Unfortunately, I am not knowledgeable enough to tell you whether that's Berlin or not, but it definitely had its share of bombing. And also, yeah, it's you're basically holding on to ruins at this point. And based on what I see so far, is I feel as though this is sharing a little bit of like my what my goal would be for a World War II story from the perspective of Nazis. In that, like, these guys are basically just going about their actions. They're not questioning whether or not they should, or whether or not they could. Let's take you out. Alright. And let's take... Nope. Okay. Okay, let's try to... Let's try to repair ourselves. We have to repair to prepare. Alright. And one more. Alright. Because, like, I wonder how they're going to, if they're going to incorporate this battle without hope. Considering the fact that this is the last Tiger. They're not going to get reinforcements. If they run out of ammo, they will die. Cat. Yeah, but they've got, like... Damn it. I missed again. Okay. Missed again. There we go. Let's try to repair. There we go. But I feel like that increasing violin, it is definitely presenting an end scenario. Damn it. Nope. We're on our own from up here. I figured we were pretty much on our own the whole time. Considering the state of Germany at this point. Alright, head to the Shimek rail yard. The ability to repair yourself is definitely useful. Especially since in-game... Is that air? That's probably air, bombing. I highly doubt these people are going to get, like, a first-person section. I feel as though this entire story is going to take place specifically from their tank.
Statusbericht. Hier werden wir uns nicht lange halten können. Jemand muss da raus uns einen Weg suchen.
Oh, okay.
Schicken Sie Hartmann.
Wovon zur Hölle reden Sie da? Der Mann ist nicht in der Verfassung.
Vertrauen Sie auf unsere Stärke. Das waren doch eure Worte, oder? Keine Schwäche, keine Sentimentalitäten.
Oh, Herrgott nochmal.
Sie sind so wichtig. Das können wir nicht riskieren. Und ich bediene das Geschütz.
Dann mache ich das eben.
Nein, Sie müssen fahren. Aber Hartmann, der ist doch eh eingeschlagen. Austauschen.
Ooh. Yeah, this is, send the guy who's lost it. The guy who's actually suffering from shell shock.
Steigen Sie aus dem Panzer. Suchen Sie uns da draußen einen Weg ins Freie.
Herrgott nochmal, Müller, nein, der Mann ist nicht in der Verfassung.
Bitte, Peter. Ich kann wirklich
Raus
nicht.
aus dem Panzer, Hartmann. Ich möchte, dass Sie Ihre Pflicht tun. Und das gilt für jeden hier.
But like to nominate somebody just because you view them as expendable. Okay, we're not playing as him. Okay. I was gonna say, like, I would have been really surprised if we actually, left the tank and got boots on the ground, because that is a much more visceral experience. Like, being in the tank gives more of a distance from the battlefield. But actually running up to bad guys and shooting them and stabbing them is something different. Oh, when the smoke clears, is he going to still be there? Ah.
Wo ist Hauptmann? Wo ist der hin?
Also?
Das wissen Sie doch gar nicht. Ruhe. Hören Sie das?
It's a good thing they kept their screw collection on so precariously on that shelf.
Aufhören nur. Und auf 12 Uhr. Bringen Sie uns raus hier. Wir können doch Hartmann nicht hier lassen.
And really, though, at that, when you're facing those numbers, like, oh no, that was somebody's bicycle. That was a perfectly good bicycle, you Nazis. Truly. The least horrific thing they've done, but still. Are these allies, or... Well, he did say that they're alone out here. They thought they're alone now. There doesn't seem to be any Germans around. Nope, that missed. Ah, and we got the gunner on the inside. Nope. Who was that? There we go. I think that hit him. Yep, that hit him. There goes that guy. Anybody else? It's a good thing we managed to narrowly avoid that line of tanks. There we go. And it seems like everything takes about 2 hits per tank. Alright, that first hit didn't strike, but the second hit, that was gold. I wonder if Hartman is going to show up again, or if they're going to have to, like, come up with upon another situation in which they have to be like, who else is expendable in our group? Oh, that's an ally. That ally existed to die.
Melde volle Kampfbereitschaft, Kommandant. Warum kann er nicht einfach Ja sagen?
Huh. You know, I'm starting to think that this game has pre-baked destructible walls in a similar fashion to classic like Medal of Honor Allied Assault, because like, yeah, you can only destroy the buildings that they specify can be destroyed, which is a little bit disappointing considering, yep, considering the history of the Battlefield franchise, and especially how much of it is was based on destructible environments. Not to mention these whole destructible environments could also provide its own commentary in that, like, these Germans are destroying their own country in an attempt to defend themselves. The Allies were bombing it, and now they're finishing the job with the Tiger. Can I repair?
Scheiße, komm schon, Stefan, das ist jetzt echt kein guter Zeitpunkt.
Können Sie es reparieren?
Vielleicht. Dauert aber eine Weile.
Was ist mit dem Panzerknacker?
Gerd, bringen Sie Stefan wieder zum Laufen. Ich schlage mich zu den Flugabwehrgeschützen durch.
Du bist verrückt, Peter.
Ah, I do have boots on the ground.
Außerhalb des Panzers war die Welt unmittelbarer.
Outside the tank, the world was more immediate. Yep.
Ohne meine stählerne Hülle unterschied mich nichts von den Leichen in den Ruinen.
Oof.
War keine gedankenlose, allmächtige Maschine, sondern einfach nur ein verwundbarer Mann.
Not an unthinking, all-powerful machine, just a flawed and vulnerable man.
Not sure when that's happening.
Alright. Excuse me, I have... Why are you not exploding, sir? Oh. Alright. So I don't have many bullets left for the MP40. Oh, never mind. Fix that a little bit. Actually, let's use the carbine, because this is a very solid long-range weapon. Can I cut through any alleys? Or will I have to deal with that tank? Oh, yep, I can cut through some areas. Ooh. And we got a sniper rifle. And some sticker grenades. And a Panzerfaust. Alright, let's map what we're dealing with first. And I think that tank... Nope, there's the tank. Alright. So long, sir. And you too. Oh. You lived. And you lived. Out of ammo. Okay. Swap back to that. Let's heal up. See if that tank has swung around by now. That tank has swung around by now. Let's heal up. We've got the Panzerfaust, which will help us deal with this stealth tank wherever it is. Oh, nope. What is shooting at me? There we go. So the tank needs to be somewhere over in this direction. Yep. Nope, that missed. That was way off. Oh, nope, hide. Luckily, these sandbags are incredibly impervious to enemy fire. Unluckily, these guys are really good at lobbing grenades. Oh, hello. Was that too high? I think that got him. Oh, nope. That may not have gotten him. Okay, let's swing around this way. Okay. For some reason, the game decided, you know what? We don't need to animate anything. Just you got forward movement. Okay, so that did get, the tank. But I've got the, these planes to take out. Where... it would be nice if I could see my enemy. Oh.
Erledigt. Wie haben Sie mich gefunden?
Bin einfach dem Feuerwerk gefolgt.
Ah. The tank has rejoined me. Damn it. I'm trying to return to you, sir. Stop blowing me up. There we go.
Was sind die Befehle, Kommandant?
Okay. There we go. And then one more shot is enough for you. And then this guy just needs 2 shots. Oh, one more.
Wo kommt das denn her?
And we also need to blow up this wall. This one interactable point. Okay, and repair, and I think we're good. Okay, now repair. And now I think we're good. Reach German forward base. I am predicting that by the time we get to that base, it has been destroyed. And we basically get a front row seat to the end of the German military, which, I believe the last time that like a World War II game really kind of showed that last moment was that like Call of Duty 2. I believe ended with the end of the war, specifically with the it had your the American characters and Russian characters moving in simultaneously to take out the Germans in the middle.
Was jetzt?
Geben Sie mir Deckung, wenn möglich. Ich suche die Dokumente.
What is the point of destroying sensitive materials at this? Like, what are you trying to hide? He took 2 bullets. Yeah, not a very strong gun. There we go. But it's a very serviceable rifle. Almost firing like a semi-automatic pistol. Alright, so I got to reload. Also, this presents a different kind of like change to your typical gameplay environment in which there are no alarm systems to worry about. These troops didn't have time to set up. Did he kill himself? Or did he just die in his chair? Does he even know what those materials are?
Ich denke, das war's. Erledigt. Nichts wie weg hier.
And who is he shouting that to, other than us, as the player? Okay, let's heal up, reload. Although, like, the carbine is good, but I think when it comes to American World War II guns, in World War II shooters, I've always preferred the M1 Garand. Like, even though it has issues with reloading, in that, like, you have to basically spend the entire clip before you could actually reload your gun. It was definitely a very versatile long-range weapon. But the carbine, it'll do. Alright, is there somebody... There is a tank-based enemy. Sometimes it's kind of hard to tell exactly what what angles I'm actually being shot from, because there's just so many explosions and so much smoke.
Scheiße, die Panzer uns.
Okay, let's run over here. And by run, I guess drive really quickly. Repair.
Gut, Kerz, legen Sie los.
There we go. But yeah, like having that, I believe, I don't know whether you could actually do. Do self-repair in the multiplayer, or whether you have to rely on a specific character class to step out of the tank to repair it. I believe it's that second thing, like somebody actually has to step out of the tank in order to repair it, in which case the actual, like, just sit in your tank and repair your vehicle is just a nice convenience for the single-player mode. Also, take that already destroyed tank. Are you? Nope. There is a lot of wrecked tanks just sitting out into the open.
Treffer bestätigt.
Yeah, take that, truck. If all the civilians have been evacuated, like, who are they even protecting anymore? What are they even fighting for at this point? Like, even if you had no idea, like, if you... Ooh. Like, are they hanging their own deserters because of their faith to their Führer, their cause? Is that Hartman? That's Hartman.
Dieser Idiot!
Halten Sie den Mund. Hat seine Pflicht getan, wie befohlen.
Seine Pflicht? Nein, war ein Verräter.
What if he was accused of being a traitor, but he just fell apart and like he couldn't actually figure out how to stand up for himself to say that he was still fighting.
Wo sind die Verteidigungsstellungen? Kommandant, was ist hier los?
Was ist los?
Und Sie reißen sich zusammen, Schröder.
Oh mein Gott. Es geht alles den Bach runter. Mensch, Peter, was machen wir denn jetzt?
What does the last tank crew of a dying crusade do when they realize that everything else has fallen apart around them?
Wo ist jetzt die große Verteidigung? Hier sollte sie doch sein.
Wir sind allein. Bleiben Sie, wo Sie sind. Ich besorge uns ein intaktes Funkgerät. Sobald meine
I mean, Hitler killed himself, so
würde ich Zeit haben, über alles nachzudenken.
clearly that's one solution. I struggled to recognize my own lies. Like the idea that, that... Can I lower my weapon?
Verflucht! Sind Sie verrückt? Ruhe! In Bewegung bleiben oder Deckung suchen.
Schön, Sie wieder an Bord zu haben, Kommandant.
Volltreffer! Beschuss fortsetzen!
Because, like, having a situation in which you go down in the glory of battle is like a different sort of ending. Like, consider the movie The Devil's Rejects, which I feel like House of a Thousand Corpses was one of those movies that was meant to kind of like be like a remake of your Cabin in the Woods story, while The Devil's Rejects is meant to kind of play around with your expectations of where that story would actually go. And the fact that it ends where it does, and it ends in a weird place, or at the very least a place that you wouldn't expect a horror movie to go, like, it does elevate its villains. Like, giving them, like, one last shot to glory. But then, The Devil's Rejects also presents itself in such a fashion where, like, the difference between the heroes and the villains is the lines that they cross in order to get what they want. Because you've got these horrible villains who torture people. And then you've got this detective who's trying to stop them. But then he attempts to use their own methods on them. No penetration. How many... Also, is that plot point that they mentioned at the beginning of the level, the whole, like, the tiger will run out of ammo before the allies run out of tanks. Is that how this story is going to end? With them sitting in a tank with no shells, as the allied forces descend upon them. That is my prediction at this point. It could very easily be wrong. I wonder, or is this like Final Fantasy VII? I forget the name of it. It was the spin-off that was on the PSP, where you were playing as the soldier Zack. In which you're just fighting a losing battle until you eventually become defeated. Similar to Peter Jackson's King Kong, the game based on the movie, where you're fighting as King Kong at the top of the Empire State Building, and you're just fighting against an endless supply of airplanes until you eventually get knocked down. Let's... Nope. Damn it. Okay, I'm expecting this to be... eventually you get destroyed by the onslaught of tanks. Nope. Let's see if I'm wrong. I might be wrong. It looks like I'm wrong. Okay. Just a really big slog of bad guys. So I guess let's keep moving. Because this... Or maybe I can stay in the corner. Nope. And then from this position, it might be a little bit easier to defend myself, because enemies would be coming from very specific directions. And then there's you. But that would also kind of make it kind of boring, because then I'd just be kind of like standing around waiting for enemies to come into view, but it would also be safer. And especially considering there's a giant onslaught of bad guys that come at you. Nope. There we go. And let's repair. And hopefully nobody comes up from behind me. Oh! Yeah, that's it. Ah! Though, like, here's the thing. Like, you could, like, you look at them hanging Hartman, like the idea of them killing their own troops in order to inspire fear, to scare their own troops into fighting till they are dead by the hands of either themselves or their enemies. That kind of reminds me of the whole of the Soviet mentality at the time, because like whenever you see the Soviet campaign usually demonstrated, there are the people who retreated from those the attacks on the German front lines, and anybody that retreated would get shot. So is that a mentality of the Germans, or is that a mentality of dictators that consider their own the human lives of the people who fight for them to be so expendable?
Die haben uns verraten. Die haben die Brücke gesprengt. Die wollen uns hier verrecken lassen.
Das weißt du nicht, Kerz. Komm, wir müssen jetzt...
Was? Stärke zeigen. Hä? Ach Gott doch mal. Sieh dich doch um, Peter.
Also, their tank is in ruins.
Alles, woran wir geglaubt haben. Alles, was wir dafür getan haben. Es ist vorbei.
Nein, Kerz. Komm. Tu das nicht, Kerz.
Peter, es ist vorbei.
That son of a...
Er war ein Verräter.
Kerz! Kerz!
That dirty... And that is very important, because it's not just the mentality that is being presented from the people above. It is that mentality that gets absorbed by the by the subordinates, these kids who shouldn't believe these things, but they carry out those actions. Wait, is he gonna shoot his... What a jerk. To be so absorbed by your own ideology that you don't even recognize your own lack of judgment. Okay. I've got to say, that was a strong ending. And it does kind of, definitely, we will not capitulate. No, never, we may be destroyed, but if we are, we shall drag a world with us. A world in flames. German soldiers fought under an oath of unconditional obedience to their leader. Most did exactly what they were told. The order to fight to the end would cost lives measured in the millions. Murderers are not monsters, they're men. And that's the most frightening thing about them. Alice Sebold. Well, that was Battlefield 5, I guess. Leave it to a Battlefield game to end on such, like, if you look at most World War II storylines, try to end on a big high note. Even Call of Duty World War II still kind of ends on a higher note, because it's like you save your friend from being killed as a prisoner of war. You win the day. You beat the bad guy. And then this game, like, you look at these stories, like, you've got oh, there's more. You've got this story about the redemption. You've got this story about family and sacrifice. You've got this story about the costs of war. You've got this story about the choices people make in war. It feels a little bit more meaningful than you would expect a big first-person shooter to be.
Good soldier, one among many. Firing cruel,
but it makes for an interesting way to, like, highlight the horrors of war while still kind of maintaining that experience that is Battlefield. It's definitely more interesting, especially when it becomes a more open world. I'm sure, like, there was, like, if I was better at stealth, that would have definitely changed the type of fight that I would have ended up doing, but like, the fact that you have these open environments that enable you to...
Against all of that horror, one thing gives me hope. I have glimpsed another world. A world where humanity shines brightly.
Where you can make your own choices. on the battlefield.
Burning with hope. It illuminates a path through this wreckage. A path to somewhere better.
But no, that was a really strong campaign, and it actually, and I feel that there was something I was feeling when I came into the game after playing Battlefield 1, was that with like Battlefield 1, I feel that the shorter stories benefited the style of gameplay that Battlefield is more than the longer stories, because like Battlefield 4 wasn't particularly good in its storytelling. Battlefield 3 was better, but it still had its odd like pieces where it's like, what was the point of that level? And this game, the individual stories themselves are actually pretty good. I doubt I'm going to be playing much of the multiplayer. I usually don't play too much multiplayer these days. I played a little bit of the beta earlier, and it was pretty good, but so my rating for this game is going to be entirely based on the single player portion. That's probably something very important to note. So as a single player campaign, I would say I feel that the single player campaign was very meaningful, and told really interesting stories. I would probably give it 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10. It was really strong. Thank you for watching. Questions, comments, recommendations for something to play next? Comment down below or send it on over to itsoundedgoodonpaper@gmail.com. That's itsoundedgoodonpaper@gmail.com. So long for now.